You are live. Hello. Hi, Kara. Welcome.
Thank you.
So excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
All right. So I'm going to try a new thing with the lives. We do have a handful of amazing listeners, viewers who show up every time, and I always try to greet them. But, you know, a lot of our views are actually on the replay. So I am going to try to cater the lives a little bit more to the replay crew, you guys. Just a heads up. And what I'll be doing is I will be taking some questions and comments during the interview with Kara, unless we're just on a roll and it's I don't find an appropriate time to do so. Um, but as far as greeting and interacting, I love doing that with you guys. And please feel free to interact in the chat and say hi to us. But we are going to kind of just jump into the episode today. So anybody on the replay isn't like, what the fuck is this? It's just some chick saying, oh, hi, Brendan. Hey, Sophia. So today we're going to try something different. You guys, welcome back to the stream, the channel. It is That's So Bleeped Up. Oh my gosh, look, I'm going to try to do it today. No swears in the first 4 minutes, you guys. Let's see if we can do it. That's So Fcked Up, a podcast about cults, murder, and other generally fucked up stuff. And then here on our YouTube live channel, we just go live because video editing is not a thing that I'm into getting into, Kara. I don't know about you, but
I don't know what I'm doing, so it's like just be live, be authentic, be raw.
Exactly. So you guys, I'm Ashley Love Richards, the host of That's So Bleeped Up. And today I have the pleasure of being joined by Kara Brodsky. Hi, Kara.
Hello.
Do you want to tell our viewers a little bit about who you are?
Sure. So I'm born and raised in New York. I'm originally from Ithaca, New York, but I'm living in Rochester, New York right now, and I'm doing online school to be a marriage and family therapist.
Awesome.
Actually, well, my hometown, there's actually a documentary like series on Netflix about it. There was like 10 murders that happened there between like 1988 and like 1999. I think that's what it was.
Wait, I lived
Yeah.
in Santa Cruz, California, and I thought we had the murder capital of the country, at least, or the world during that period.
I mean, I don't really know about California since
You were,
yeah.
either you were beating California or you were giving the serial killers in California a real run for their money.
I've seen a lot of crime shows. There is a lot of crime that happened in California. So, like, I don't know. Maybe we're like kind of like getting.
Well, so you're in New York, right?
Yeah, I'm in New York. Yeah.
So both, big popular places. So
yeah, down in New York City alone is 8 million people. So, in like a very small area. So, you got to figure crazy crime and.
no, thank you.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So,
That sounds like anxiety to me. I'm just like, oh, that many people in like one place ever? No.
yeah, it's pretty bad. Like, I think we were like in a state of emergency for a little while because like so many people were coming into New York, and like COVID was really big in New York, and then it spread like wildfire. So,
Well, maybe
like,
because there's 8 million people living in a small area.
yeah.
I don't know.
I'm about like 5-6 hours from New York City, so I have quite a bit of distance. But a lot of the city people come up here. So my parents are originally from down there, so they came up here like 35 years ago. It's too crowded down there. It's too expensive,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are you in upstate New York?
Yeah, I'm in upstate New York. I'm about like, Buffalo, New York, or Canada. I'm like 2 hours from Canada.
Oh, wow. Okay, so my
Yeah.
great grandma grew up somewhere in upstate New York. I heard I've never been farther east than Colorado. No, I've been to Florida. And I always forget that that's like very east. But yeah, I've heard upstate New York is just absolutely beautiful.
It's so cold though. I get tired of the cold. Like
Yeah,
we
you're
had
like,
a crazy winter the other like last winter we had. It was do you know the movie the Day After Tomorrow where like everything freezes and like people died?
no.
That's like what happened here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like up in
Was it based on that?
well, I mean, they were comparing the winter that we had to that movie because Reed Timmer, who's like an extreme meteorologist that chases storms, he was up here. Like he was taking video and he was like trying to rescue people. It was insane. And like we only got a
Whoa.
little bit of snow where I'm at. I'm only like 2 hours away from there. So yeah,
Damn.
it was
That's
crazy.
wild.
Well, I
All
would
right,
think
so Carrot,
Colorado. Oh, I was
what?
just gonna say I would think Colorado would have a lot of snow too. So
Oh, I thought you were gonna say a lot of serial killers, and I was like, yeah, no, I don't know. Since I moved here, I was like, wow, this place is fucking crime ridden.
oh
Um,
yeah, little dog the bounty hunter is out there. So
Wait, he is?
yeah, he lives in Colorado, yeah.
Bitch, stop. I'm sorry. I call people bitch all the
It's okay.
time. And I'm
It's
like,
fine.
maybe you shouldn't say that to people you don't know. It's
It's
like when I
okay.
get excited. Um,
It's
I'm
alright.
like, I should hit him up and see what he's up to.
Yeah, yeah, you could. I mean, he bounces between Colorado and, Hawaii, like 2 different places there.
Okay, that's funny though, because I
Yeah.
grew up in Hawaii until I was like 10.
No
So
way.
me and dog, like we got some stuff in common.
Oh my god, that's
We could be
crazy.
maybe, I should also get a mullet and then it would be really real. Okay, but
Right.
besides somebody who lives in upstate New York,
Yeah.
Kara, probably from reading the description of the video, people know a little bit about you. But can you tell us a little bit about your experience with Twin Flames universe? Which, uh, you guys, I'm gonna full transparency. Kara reached out to me last year, and look, I'm gonna blame it on mental health, okay, you guys. But um,
Okay.
I I find correspondence, whether it's um, you know, emails, text messages, social media comments and messages, writing letters and sending them out, like just corresponding with people is really hard. So I'm so sorry that I took literally a year to get back to you. I was
It's
like going
okay.
through my email inbox
I
and
forgot I even emailed you.
well, it's been a year, so that makes sense. And I apologize, but and then I was like, that's kind of crazy though, because obviously that's getting a lot of attention right now, which makes it a pretty effective time to talk about it.
Right.
Um, so yeah, you reached out to me a year ago and I recently got back to you. So if anybody's reached out to me via anything and I haven't gotten back to you, it is truly not personal whatsoever. It's totally a me problem and I'm working on it. Um, so Carrie, you reached out to me and you were like, I'm a cult survivor, and then I ignored you for a year like an asshole. So why don't you give us some more backstory now?
Yeah, I'll go right from the beginning. So it's been a few years. So I have a YouTube video that got like almost like 5,000 views. Well, now, but
Oh, and you have a YouTube channel, and our wonderful mod put that up on the screen before. And if she could do it again, that would be awesome. Shout out Alicia.
okay, so I'll go from the beginning. So I was into like spiritual stuff, like forums and things like on like Facebook,
Hmm.
and I got this like random request for a Twin Flame Universe. And I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And I kind of knew a little bit about Twin Flame stuff because I listened to an Australian podcast from like a few years ago. It was Melanie Tanya Evans. And she mentioned something about Twin Flames. And I was like, what is
Was it
this?
was it Zealot? Was that the podcast?
No, she just had like her own like little show. Like
Oh, okay.
I think it's a podcast. I'm not quite sure. I haven't really checked into her stuff as much, but she mentioned that she thought she had to stay with this one husband because it's her twin flame, and I was like, "What is this?" So
Hmm.
when I was in this forum, people were posting things about the twin flame and how this group can help you heal trauma along with like finding like your true love for the last time. So I got in there and like immediately people were bombarding me with messages and video calls. And so the biggest, so like, not the biggest thing, but the thing that they did right from the get go is like try to push this book that Jeff and Shalia wrote. And it was about how they met, how much they didn't like each other in the beginning, and then they like learned to like each other. And like I think they said part of the twin flame process is like when you meet in the other half of your soul, like there could be like blocks and all these things that could go on between you and your twin flame. So like I thought my twin flame was like this older married guy, and it got crazy because like so I bought into it where so I buy the book. It's on Amazon. I forgot what the title of the book is, but
Sorry, really quick.
yeah.
Would you say you said that you started getting a ton of messages right away, right?
Yeah.
So was the group kind of like love bombing you? Like, oh,
Um
Kara, so glad to have you here. Blah blah blah. Blah.
well, that and they were just like really scared because Jeff is like really business oriented. So like he's pushing for this book, he's pushing for people to get clients. Like so you're like a life coach. So Brianne Price, who's still in it, she reached out to me first. And then I think she gave me like 5 free sessions of like this life coaching stuff. And like nothing really happened. I mean, I think she did some tarot cards and like what'd she do? Wasn't tarot cards in the beginning. I think that was a little bit later when I actually joined and then did the classes and then met once or twice a week with like a whole group of people. So I think it was just she's pushing for the book. She's like really scared because Jeff is like really angry and pushes everybody to like sell this book and like get clients. So because they want to pay for their mansion and their sports car. So and they're based in Michigan too, by the way. So
Oh,
yeah,
did you meet
yeah.
them in person?
No, but like, well, I'll get into it.
Okay.
um,
I'll hold my questions.
yeah, no. It gets good. It's juicy, I swear. Um, so I talked to Brianna Price for a little while. Then I signed up. So Deanna, this girl named Deanna, I forgot what her last name was, but she's like the intake person. So like Brianna Price got me in. Like I think she was like kind of scared and like talked sweetly. So there's a little bit of love bombing, a
Mhm.
little bit. And they're also very desperate too. So, and I'm like one of those people where like if someone's desperate around me, I feel like I have to help. So, so I joined the group, and I think it was like $111 a month, and they go in number sequences, so it could be like 222, 333. So like it was $101 a month, and I used like a credit card for that. And then there was this kid named Chad, who I think that was his real name. He reached out to me. He was like nagging me for money, and like everyone's very desperate in the group. So like in the forum, so like everyone's asking for money and help and what to do. And then so then I signed up, and then so you get these classes of Jeff and Shalia just like talking about stuff, and you can see like in the background like how their housing changed. Where like it's kind of
Mm.
like it's a weird bland room, and then now it's like this like grand room with like books everywhere. So that
And
was
they're
very
very
interesting.
braggadocious about how much money they have.
Oh yeah, and it's like all of us are paying for that. It's like shouldn't we like get a piece of that house, you know?
Yeah, and then in the thumbnail for today's interview, it's that picture where he's laying on their slide and she's sitting on the diving board. And I was like, hold the fuck on. Why did I notice this before? Like they have a fucking slide, which you know what? No shade because I would probably have a slide, but shade to them actually. No shade to me or anybody else who wants a slide in their pool. But I was just like, these obnoxious assholes fully would have a fucking pool slide.
Yeah, and it's
Just to
like I'm
be
not
like,
gonna flaunt it. Like
look
I
at
would be
how
like,
extra we are.
right, right.
Oh,
I mean, I wouldn't be like flaunting it and be like, "Hey, look what you guys are paying for,"
did
you
that
know.
make you angry?
I didn't even know if it was even their house. Like I thought maybe it's like their parents' house or something.
You're
I
like,
don't know.
what is going on?
I was like, because I was always scratching my head. It's like, how are they affording this? Like, I mean, how many people are paying for these classes? Like, they must have a lot of people. Or, but okay, so I was in the group. Oh yeah, so this kid Chad, he actually eventually comes to my house. Like, I gave him like $500 to like start his like spiritual business, and like he was like trying to kiss Shalia's ass and like sending her like birthday cards and stuff, and like trying to get on her good side. So like so he actually slept over and we hung out, and I did like a live like YouTube tarot card reading. Like I just think tarot cards are interesting because it's like it's testing your intuition just to see if you're like right, like
If
with
you
your
ever wanna read my tarot, I'm down because I don't know how.
I don't have any cards, but just some of them are just like really cool. Like I like the positive ones, like with hearts on it and rainbows. So
What about the one that's like death? You don't like that one?
no, I mean, hopefully that card doesn't come up because maybe something's gonna happen. But actually, I was told I went to like a spiritual like. Well, it was just like actually a bookstore, and like this girl was like, "Don't buy tarot cards." So she made me buy this like dream book. I was like, "Okay," because they're like, "Oh, the tarot cards are making crazy, making people do crazy things," and it's like, okay,
What?
because if you get like a tarot card reading, you like think it's like really true, which may or may not be. I mean, it's I don't know. It could be kind of hocus pocus, but it's like sometimes I did a tarot card reading on myself. Was like, whoa, that's what I was thinking at that exact moment. So it's pretty cool like that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people in this group were like doing a lot of tarot card readings and things like that, and everyone was like very traumatized. Everybody's like very triggered in there.
Oh, for sure. Total, like, trauma
Yeah.
bonding going on.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to quickly say that, Abby said, "Death card just means change. Tower is the card you don't want." And actually, that's actually what I had thought too. So,
Right.
like, change can be good, right? But
Yeah, like a death of like of
the
like an old
ego or
relationship or ego.
something.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not too familiar with tarot cards, so like that's why like I don't really know enough to like do the reading and stuff like that. But I would just do the ones that already have like words on them. So,
Yeah.
but so when I was in the forum, I was in the forum and in this cult for about like a year. So for the first 3 months, it was just like I don't know about this. I was debating about it, and like I keep paying all this money and doing the classes. So Jeff and Shalia like most of the time they're not really teaching anything. Like they're basically like bitching at all their followers and like kicking them out if they don't get a sex change in a hurry or change their name. Or Jeff is sometimes playing video games during some of the classes. These are pre-recorded classes too. And like Jeff will talk. So Jeff went to school for business, and then Shalia went to school for psychology. So like they combined and like created this whole thing. And she's into tarot cards, and he wasn't even into that at all. So like from what I understand, and so you do the classes, which is like I mean you can watch anytime. I was like afraid to watch them because I don't know what to expect. So
Oh my gosh, yeah, because you don't know if
yeah,
he's just gonna be fucking chastising everybody. That's what I found so interesting is, usually with a cult, you have a charismatic leader, and maybe Jeff was charismatic in a way that I couldn't see, because to me,
right.
he just I mean, did he start off cool? Was he like did you ever have any positive interaction with Jeff or Shalia?
Well, Jeff kind of lowers his voice. Do you know how like a father or mother like talks to their child? Like they kind of lower their voice and they talk very lovingly. Like I kind of thought
Mhm.
he did that, but it was like he looks like a skinny, scrawny little kid that like plays video games.
Oh,
Like,
he looks like Jesus. Come on,
well, I mean
Kara.
now he does, but
I mean,
before his
this
hair was short.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I mean, you can see over time where like his hair was short, and him and Shalia were like both at like the same weight. Where like she was overweight, he was really skinny. Then like she lost a lot of weight, then he started to gain weight. So you can see how like they're getting a little imbalanced and probably stressing each other out. Um, and he also had favorites. I know he had it. He really liked Fabian, so he was German. I think he's still in the group. But actually, so I was in for like 3 months, then I left, and I was like posting stuff on like Kiora, and like they were like trying to prevent me from doing that, and they're like, "Come back." So I like
what's
felt bad.
Kiora?
Where you can, it's almost like Reddit, where like you could
Okay.
post, like you post a question, like other people could respond to it, or you make a
Oh,
statement.
the
Yeah,
QUO. I've always yeah, okay. I
like
yeah. I've always like, how the fuck do you say that?
Yeah,
Okay,
I think
I
I'm
know what
saying it
you
right. Yeah.
mean.
But so it was like Deanna, Brian Price, and Fabian. They were like trying to get me to come back because like they didn't want me to speak about it, about how like this is like a cult. They're not really helping you. Like they're acting like it, and because like when you're in it, they're like, oh, we're gonna help you heal your trauma. And you're gonna find the one, but then they're like trying to get you to work for them. So like they gave me like a spreadsheet of like what forums and websites to post in. I don't have it anymore, but I was like, I don't know how to do this. Like, do I make like an advertisement? Like, I don't know what I'm doing. So I
Well,
like didn't
didn't
do
they
it.
go after like didn't what did they tell you? Oh, go post in fucking trauma forums and shit, right?
I mean, I don't know about those type, but just like anywhere where a lot of people would be. I think of one of the on the list. I think there was some games in there, like some like websites or ways you can. It's just they just want you to recruit. So it's like any way you could think of to do that. So in this spreadsheet, they would have like forums or whatever, and then you put your initials of like who like posted in there. And I was like, I didn't even do it. I was like, I didn't sign up for this. I'm not working. Like I'm paying to be told I have to work. Like shouldn't it be
For
the other way
free.
around?
For
Yeah,
free,
right,
right?
right, yeah.
And that's what they kind of told I remember in the documentary, they're like, you know what's so sexy to a twin flame is somebody who's like really living and working in their passion. And weirdly enough, we've been kind of informed that your guys's passion that's going to make you sexy to your twin flame is working for us for free. How crazy is that?
Yeah, and it was even crazier where like they're telling you who your twin flame is, and then it's like, wait, like Brianne Price said her twin flame was this one lady, and then in the group it's like now it's like, wait, you're with a transgender person. It's like I thought your twin flame was this person. So it's like it's weird how it's like changing where like they're saying this is their twin flame and then it's like somebody else now. So it's like they're starting to get together in the group. Like
Mm-hmm.
I think they're, doing that. So what else? I'm just trying to remember. This has been a while.
So you left
Um,
for 3 months, and
yeah.
then Fabian and those three were like, "Hey, Kara, come back."
Well, I didn't leave for 3 months. I left 3 months in and then I went back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it was about a year.
Crazy how they
Yeah.
can suck you back in.
Yeah. And like, I don't know. So I grew up kind of like being like, oh, so, even if they're like nasty to me, but if they're like kind of manipulative, I kind of give in, which is terrible. But, so I went back just because it's like, I don't know if they're going to like, come at me again and like say all this
Oh,
stuff. But so like, yeah, so I went back in and then, well, I forgot to mention that. So it's the classes and then you meet twice a week with people in a group and everybody just talks about their blocks. But Brianna Price used to go off on me like randomly. I'm just sitting there, I'm not even doing anything. She'll just go off. So everyone's very kind of disordered in there as well. But so when I was watching like some of the classes that Jeff and Shalia had, like Jeff just goes off on everybody like randomly, and then like Shalia's just kind of like, oh, don't do that, just calm down. Like, so she tries to calm him down, but also enables him too. So, but I remember a few times where like Jeff was actually in the forum, like yelling at everybody. Like it wasn't like in video, but like you could tell with text, like he's very angry at everybody, and he's like, everyone's like scattering, and like, sell my book, hurry up.
oh my god. Capital letters and exclamations.
I think so. And then at one point I said, how does one become you? And he said, well, God assigns you this position. And I was like, okay.
Of course it's God ordained. Come on.
Right. And then Shalea would be like, oh, some angels talk to me. I mean, it's possible. Like, I think some psychic stuff is real, but
So
um,
I'm guessing that the 111, 222, all that shit is like angel numbers or some bullshit like that.
yeah, right, exactly.
And
Yeah.
$111 a month, that is fucking rowdy. Like, what, dude?
Yeah, and I like became like homeless after a while. Like I just like ran my credit card and then like I met somebody that I thought was my twin flame and then it's not. So it's like it was somebody else. It wasn't the older man that was married. And they push for you to contact your twin flame even if they get a restraining order on you. So like one time in the classes, like this one lady like randomly showed up where her twin flame was at, and he was like, "Why are you here?" I think she was like at like an airport or something. So
Is
it's
this the
like,
girl that got arrested?
oh, I don't know. This was some older woman who was like a
Oh.
lawyer.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, I'm not sure. Was it like Ryan Reynolds? Because somebody supposedly said like Ryan Reynolds. They said there's like a twin flame that he had, like wouldn't leave him alone, and because I
Oh
think some
my
of the
god.
actors, yeah,
No, the it was this girl in one of the documentaries. She
okay, I gotta watch him.
her twin flame had gotten a restraining order against her, and then she
Yeah.
went dancing out at a club one night, like, and she swears like was not following him, and he happened to be there, so he called the cops on her, and then she went to jail for like 3 months for breaking her restraining order. And then Jeff was like, yeah, crazy, you're not supposed to stalk people. And it's like, I thought that's exactly what you say, is to stalk people.
Oh yeah, he totally contradicts himself. Like he'll say, "Don't do this," or like a hypocrite, he'll tell you, "Don't do this," but then it's like, "Wait, you just told me to do it."
Yeah, what?
Like that's totally. My dad was like that, so I was kind of familiar with like. Well, and the other thing is too, it's like that's not his real name. I didn't know that, and Shelia, that's not her name either. It's
I
like, wait,
know.
what?
Wait, what's Jeff's real name?
Um, I think it was like something weird. I would have to look it up. It's been a while.
No, yeah, no,
It was
don't
just a weird
worry. Don't worry
name.
about it.
Yeah,
No, and
it's
I
just a
thought
weird name.
Shalia is a ridiculous name because that is literally my name backwards. Shalia
Oh, crazy.
Ashley. I was like, bitch, get some originality. Come on. Does she ever say much during the videos? Because from what I saw, she was always kind of just pretty quiet, and Jeff was like the fucking mouthpiece from what I
Oh
saw.
yeah, he would talk quite a bit. She would just kind of sit there. She'll occasionally chime in, but like, there was one video where he's like talking about his sex life with her, and it's just like, so he's like saying if you get with your twin flame, like sex is like unbelievable or something like that, and it's just like, okay, it's like,
Cool.
oh, okay then. There was a few. Actually, there was this one time I was in one of the classes, and Fabian and a few other people that are like Jeff's favorites like popped in, and I like observed them a little bit, and like Fabian's like a really angry dude, and like I think one of the classes Jeff is like teaching Fabian like how to have his kittens like not hate him. It's like really weird stuff. It's like your kittens hate you. It's like you
I
must be
saw
like,
that.
yeah, you
And
did.
he had to do mirror work about it, right? That's how you
Oh
solve your
yeah.
trauma, is the
Oh yeah,
mirror work.
I mean, they totally victim shame you. Like they'll be like, "Oh, well, the reason why you're getting abused is because it's a block within you." It's like, no, you're getting abused because this person's abusive.
Yeah. Pretty
Like,
fucking simple.
I mean, obviously, you are abusing yourself if you're being with someone abusive. So it means you're like have low self esteem. You're not choosing right. So it's more like, hey, you're probably choosing somebody like your parents, or
Right.
um, yeah,
Um, as
vulnerable, insecure people, they definitely target them. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like Sophia said, it's they
Yeah.
definitely go for people who, like you said, you're like, I hate to not please people, or you said something similar. Um, so that they go for people who are going to buy into their bullshit because they're at a time in life where they're like you said, you were kind of, did you say that's how you found it? Is you were kind of like looking into twin flames? Or you were
Well,
just on spiritual sites?
I was just on spiritual sites just trying to find like-minded people, but I had a really terrible family, so like I was just trying to find people to connect with, and then I get kind of tricked kind of easily sometimes because it's like with the love bombing, it's like, oh, I thought they're being nice to you, and then it's like, wait, they're just using you. So it's like you gotta find the red flags like right in the beginning, or you'll just get totally abused and used. So just trying to think. Yeah, so the whole like blocks thing, like, okay, yeah, I mean, everybody has like some sort of blocks and stuff like that, but it's like another person is not going to heal that for you. I mean, they'll just bring it to the surface, I think, but um for this person, this twin flame to heal me, it's like, that's not really going to happen. And actually, a lot of what happens is, since I'm training to be a therapist, is a lot of people are very disordered where they'll mirror you. Like they're just pretending to be you because they have no identity. So, like, borderlines tend to do that. Maybe histrionics, but narcissists will do that too. They'll mirror you, like they'll act like
Oh, because
you.
they don't have, like, they don't know how to feel, right? So they're like, "Oh, I'll take cues from you looking emotional. Oh, is this a time to cry? Oh, okay, yeah, we're upset."
Right, or like copying your mannerisms. So like that would happen a lot where my parents were like that, where like they didn't get what they needed as a kid. So like you're supposed to get that when you're a child. You're supposed to get mirroring, like your mom's supposed to smile at you, look at you, talk to you. But if your parent doesn't do that, you're gonna try to constantly look for that later in life. So like there was a lot of people in the group in there. They wanted parents. They wanted parents they never had. So that's with the whole, being vulnerable and insecure. Like I didn't really have good parents. I'm insecure in life. So, but
Why are you describing me, Kara? I feel called out.
no.
I'm so glad the Twin Flames people didn't find me because we probably would know each other, like, from the group.
Well, actually, I think Jeff was actually living in Hawaii at one point, and he had
I
like
know.
he had like a vegetarian like Airbnb or something, bed and breakfast type thing.
He said I would be a great cult leader or some shit like that.
That's what he said
Yeah. Like,
about
in the
you, or
no, no, no.
oh,
Yeah, girl, you gotta watch the documentaries.
yeah, I do need to.
So he says he's, like, on a Facebook Live or some shit, when he's living in Hawaii doing his whatever, and he's like, "Yeah, people are saying that, like, I remind them of a cult leader, or I would be a great cult leader," or he makes, like, some joke about being a cult leader, like, very much pre him becoming a cult leader. So I was like, well, doesn't that lay the groundwork? And then it's funny because you
Right.
mentioned, they, like, wrote this book where they talked about they didn't like each other at first, right?
Yeah.
And I swear to God, he says, I don't know what the exact words are before and after, but he says, "In my 29 years of babe hunting." And he says something like, "Yeah, like, Shilia texted me and said, 'What are you up to?'" And I was like, busy with it about uh, busy with about 9 million other women pursuing me or something insane like that. And then he said babe hunting, and I was like, who is this guy? Like, I hate
Yeah.
him so much. And you
Yeah.
know what? I think that's such a fucking dangerous precedent to say, set, is to say, like, "Oh, look, you and your twin flame, like, probably won't even get along." It's like, so you should go into unhealthy relationships.
Right.
That's, like, expected here.
Right. Yeah, he also was talking about how like he could charge like celebrities like $30,000 for like sessions with him, and it's like I don't know if any celebrities
What
are charging that.
celebrity? Yeah,
Well, I
who?
mean, like Megan Fox is into the twin flame thing. I think
Oh,
like
that's
J
right.
Lo and
Machine Gun Kelly.
oh my
I'm
god,
sorry. You know what? Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox. Hi, Michelle. Um, are just as they look just as cringe as Jeff. Michelle said, and you guys, Michelle Carpenter, Eminent Trouble Source, has a great YouTube channel as well. Go check her out. Um, um, yeah, like, oh God, just Jeff and Machine Gun Kelly and Megan Fox and Shalia. What's her? I hate calling her
her
that.
real
So
name is
stupid.
Megan.
Megan. Yeah, let's call her Megan. I like that name though. It's like I don't know. I guess it's because I have a really nice friend named Megan. I'm like, I like Megans.
And you don't want to be like, oh, she gives. Well, I mean, good thing her name is Shalia then.
Oh, Michelle said, I did know someone who was into this back in 2016, 2017. We were in a pagan community together. Luckily, we went down different paths.
Oh, like the twin
Yeah.
flame, like the twin flame concept.
Yeah. Um, yeah, Michelle, I'm glad that you did not go down the twin flame path. I'm glad that Michelle and I are both meeting you now and not in the group, Kara.
Yeah.
Again, I'm so sorry though for what you went through. Did they ever try to coerce you into changing your gender or any of that, anything akin to that, or did you see it happening to other people in the group?
I would see it happen. It didn't happen to me, but I mean, I did make a YouTube video, and like Jeff called me like a liar. And I was like, okay. I deleted the comment. I probably should have left it, but he. So like the what I saw was so it was a lesbian couple, and I think it was Anne, and I'm gonna say her name was Ashley too, but I could be I could be wrong on that. But so Anne had to be the male in the twin flame relationship. So he's so like Jeff, I think he's very Christian based too. So like one someone has to be the man, someone has to be the woman. So like he pushed for Anne to like get a sex change and change her name, and it's like, it kind of takes a little bit of time. And he was like acting like, well, if you don't do it now, then you're out. And it's like,
And you were in those groups seeing that.
actually it was, I can't remember if, okay. So no, it was not the classes. I remember in the classes, like those two, like they worked together and they made pretty good money in the group. But like Jeff will like he'll get like really mad if you don't pronounce Shadlia's name right. So like I think they like accidentally like didn't say her name right and he got really mad. But like it was actually in the forum live where I was like I asked the person that had to get a sex change, I was like, "Are you okay?" And they're like, "Yeah, Jeff just yelled at me." Da 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 da. They're just kind of like it's just kind of like, "Oh, it's just Jeff. That's just the way he is." Like everyone's very enabling with his behavior, and he's totally narcissistic. But yeah, I saw that and. Um, that's the only time I saw that. But then he likes to deny that he does that. Like he's not pushing for you to get a sex change, even though I just saw him do it. So
And I mean, it's like, is he Christian based? Like, does he believe in Christianity, or does he just use that shit to be like, I'm Jesus, this is God ordained, marital rape is cool? Like, it seems like he just kind of threw in the Christianity shit to be like, it legitimizes it more, right? Because Americans are very Christian by default. And then, but then he's also doing all of the spirituality stuff with the twin flames and the healing through the mirror work. You guys, there's real therapy, and you should try that. Not mirror work, not shadow work like Teal Swan does. I'd say, Kara, would you agree that any therapy that you essentially do on your own, where you always come to the conclusion that it was your fault, probably not like the best therapy, right? We could probably do better stuff for trauma.
yeah, although good luck in New York because it's like I've had therapists where they said I'm the therapist, and they're
Because
coming
they
to me.
sucked.
Yeah, they were. It's like I don't know how they got the license and the training. It's like I'm not supposed to be like this. Literally, this therapist said, "You're the therapist," and she like left her chair for me to take over. And I was
They're
like,
like, oh, you're getting
"Why?"
a degree in psychology. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to be fully transparent. Hearing you say you were getting a degree in psychology or marriage and family counseling,
Yeah,
and then hearing you talk about psychology as if you know what the fuck you're talking about is very comforting to me, because I think a lot of nut jobs go into the field because they're
oh
like,
yeah,
hey, I'm nutty, I should learn why and then help other people. And for some people it's like, no, you should just learn why and then get a different job.
yeah. You're
um
not really supposed to talk about yourself in therapy. Like you're there
so
for
I'm
the
very
client.
glad to hear it sounds like you're going to be a great therapist.
Well, I know I'm gonna get a lot of work.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I did figure out. So Jeff's real name is like Ender. It's like a weird name.
Oh,
Ender.
right. But
And
honestly, like Ender and Shalia sounds more fucking culty, you know?
yeah,
Like it sounds like it would either be Ender and Shalia or Jeff and Megan. Like pick a lane.
right.
Like, do you guys want to be cult leaders or not? Um,
Yeah.
Michelle said about Ender, let's call them by their stupid names. He's just a wannabe Keith Raniere, who's a wannabe L. Ron Hubbard, who's a wannabe insert endless list of gross men going back to the beginning of time. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think he had a thing for some of the women in the group too. Like there was some good-looking girls in the group, and it's like he's like totally flirting with them in front of Shalia, and she like doesn't even notice.
And so how long did you leave the group for? And then how long did you go back in for?
So I was in 3 months, then I was like out for like a few days, and I went back in for like maybe another 8 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was like getting worse. It was like my anxiety was getting higher, and like they were saying that this person was my twin flame even more. Like some people in the group, and I was like, no, he's not. I'll like do the opposite. I'll be like, they're like, oh, he's your twin flame. It's like goodbye. No, he's not.
The married guy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. He was a friend of my dad's, and um, like so like the way that you would think it's your twin, and they even said that it's like I think some people in the group even said it where your twin flame could be like dead, they could be older, younger, they're not born yet. um like
Stop it. They could be dead.
yeah, like you're connecting with your twin flame and they're dead and stuff, like just really it's really
And then
crazy.
you're just supposed to be like, what? Partnered up with this fucking dead person for the rest of your life?
Like their soul or something.
What the fuck, man? So
Yeah, it's crazy.
how did it come to the conclusion that your twin flame was your dad's married buddy?
I just thought because we had a lot in common.
Okay.
But then he like has like he didn't really grow up with parents, so like he copies people. Like he literally was trying to become my dad. Like he's a musician like my dad. My dad was like a semi-famous musician from the 70s and 80s. So he was like trying to be friends with my dad's musician friends, like trying to maybe dress like him. So but then there's like aspects of him that were very similar to me where like I used to get made fun of. I didn't really have friends growing up. I had a terrible family. We went to the same elementary school, even though he was like 30 years older than me. Um, so it's because like a small town, so there's a lot of people, everybody knows everybody. So but I just thought like your whole twin flame is like this person has so much in common with you. Like they have similar trauma to you. They, behave the same way. Maybe they're stuck at the same age as you, like maturity wise. So that's why I was very confused of like, okay, is it just a soulmate? Is it more? Is it just okay? We just so happen to have things in common. So I mean, that's what I thought the whole twin flame thing was. It's like, oh, you're just so similar that like no one else, But then it's like, are they really similar? Or are they just copying you?
Right. Do you think that this man was like at all grooming you at any point? Like just emotionally? Like it just sounds weird him trying to like integrate himself into the family and find all these commonalities with you and stuff.
Well, I mean, I'm very social because my parents are. So like he actually was around when I was 17 and he tried to break my arm at one point.
What the
Um,
fuck? Wait,
yeah.
why? Also, you
Well,
can be groomed at 17 or any age. I'm just as a general statement.
yeah. I mean, I didn't.
Not to you, Kara. I'm not
No,
saying
no, I know.
what I'm not trying to say what your experience was at all. I'm just saying I think there's a big misconception a lot of times that only children can be groomed, but adults get groomed into fucking cults. Like that's generally how that happens a lot of times.
Oh yeah, and I mean, I was involved in another cult, and I lived in an area with a lot of cults too. So like, I worked at a school that was based on a cult. It was the Waldorf school. Um,
That
I
shit's a cult?
yeah, I mean, from what I understand,
God,
like
I
it's
gotta look
like
into it.
yeah, the Waldorf school. It's based on Rudolf Steiner's beliefs. I think it's like stuff about other dimensions, but
For like elementary school kids?
yeah, I think it was like pre-K to like third or fourth grade. But
Well,
a lot of the education that they get can't really translate from what I understand because it's not really based on, it's almost, and they do home visits and stuff. And I mean, um, I think the main school that started, I think it was in Garden City, New York. But it's very cult like because it's not like they would be mad if you don't go to the school. I was just like a little, I was like a kind of like a cleaner there. And, they didn't have TVs there. They were like out in the country. They would do a lot of stuff outside and they would do this like maypole celebration thing outside.
Like in Midsummer?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like a Swedish thing because my grandma was like half Swedish, and I think she used to kind of be into that stuff. So I was like, "Oh, isn't it like a cult?" You could think
Oh,
everything is
Kara.
a cult.
Kara, have you heard of Roberta Blevins' podcast, Life After MLM?
No, what's
Oh, girl, you got to check it out. It's so good. Roberta was in the Amazon Prime documentary, docuseries Lula Rich. It's about LuLaRoe, which is an insane MLM, like multi-level marketing.
Oh yeah, they kind of did that in the Twin Flame group where you have the
Yes,
pyro
yeah,
people and like
yes,
pyramid, yeah.
yeah. Twin Flames had a very fucking MLM type setup.
Yeah.
But Michelle works on the show with Roberta, and she said you should come on Life After MLM.
Oh yeah, send me
You
a link,
you
email me. You can get me
totally
my
should.
information. Yeah.
Yeah, Michelle, I will give you Kara's email. And then also, well, that's her. You can find her on Facebook. I can say this, right, Kara?
Yeah,
You
oh
told
yeah,
me.
whatever. I mean,
You guys
people are
can
finding me
find
all the time, so
you guys can find Kara on Facebook at Kara or at I don't know, whatever. Kara Brodsky. That's her name.
yeah.
It's on the screen.
Yeah. I think they
um
call it a handle. That's on YouTube. So I think they call it my handle. Sounds kind of
Dude,
funny.
I'm always like, where do people need to go? The DMs, the PMs. I just started saying messages because I was like, I can't keep track of what kind of messaging people are doing where. Also, about the unborn twin flame, I think what Sophia is saying is they could not be a child yet. Hello, child abuse. So
Yeah.
yeah, like then your twin flame, once they are born, they're a fucking baby. And you're like, my twin flame is a baby. That sounds very Mary Kay Letourneau, which I talked about yesterday, you guys. Do you know about that case, Kara?
Oh yeah, that was a crazy case. I watched it all the way through. Like she acted like he was so in control, and he came on to her kind of thing. And then it's like, I mean,
He
she
was
would not.
11. He couldn't come on to you.
Well, she would like not leave him alone. The judges like stop seeing him. She went to jail for 7 years, got out, married him, and she had like 3 kids with him, and then she
No,
died.
I know. And a movie based on the story that's hot fucking garbage. You guys do not watch it. It's called May December. It's on
Was it
Netflix.
was it on Lifetime?
No, but it should have been like
Right.
1,000%. It was a Lifetime movie that
Right.
should have been on Lifetime. And I just thought it was so disrespectful to Billy and his children because they're very much alive.
Right.
And this just fuck that movie.
It was just really weird how they would meet for sex. Like they met on a roof of a house.
And in a car. Well, and yeah, like he's 12. Like
And
she's
I think his mother was kind of fine with it too.
well, she didn't know that he
Oh,
was
she
being
didn't know.
sexually abused because she
Oh,
groomed the family.
right.
Like I don't know if you know the story of Jan Broberg, abducted in plain sight, but like this man fully groomed their whole fucking family to get to the girl. Like he
Right.
had sexual encounters with both of her parents. Like
Oh,
wild. It totally fully ingratiated himself into the family just to get to Jan. So I think it's actually like pretty common for people to groom a family as well, because if you're trying to get to their 12-year-old, you got to get the parents' trust, right? So
right.
you're like,
Well,
oh, I'm the cool aunt. Never trust the cool aunt or the cool uncle, right? I'm probably the cool aunt, trust me. But
yeah. Well, so as far as like the grooming, I mean, I was familiar with grooming, and there's a lot of child molesters in the area that I was from. And like my parents make beelines for those areas. My parents would be friends with anybody. So, but so like as far as like the grooming, I mean, he didn't have me watch porn. Like, I think it was my dad's friend of a friend. So, like, that's the only reason why he was around. Like, I don't think he even knew that my dad even had kids. So, I mean, but as far as like grooming, like, he kept trying to ask me to go on like mountain bike rides with him because he had a son. So, he's okay. So, his son is half Italian and I'm like half Italian. So, I kind of look like his son. And then he also said I kind of look like his ex wife. So, but at the
Oh my
time
god,
when
I'm sorry. This
yeah, it's
feels so groomy to me.
yeah, yeah.
He, like, was trying
Um,
to spend time alone with you, taking you on
he,
where?
he kept trying to get me to do mountain bike rides because that's what he grew up doing, and he was a professional cyclist. So like he likes to go with younger people, and it's like I kept telling him no, and then I figured out that he is a rapist, and he told me who the victims were, and I knew them, and
He
it was
told you?
yeah. I mean, sometimes they'll tell you, everything. Predators, they'll tell you everything they because they gained your trust, right? So they think they can like tell you everything. So like but he was kind of like my dad though. My dad was kind of like that. My dad like 17, 18, 19-year-old girls because he was stuck at that age, and my mom divorced him, and there was sexual abuse allegations with my dad and me. And but my mom is a borderline, so she doesn't like it when a male gives attention to somebody else. But borderlines will also be with predators too. They'll be like, oh, she's getting abused. She is, but she's also disordered too. So, but
So,
but
sorry,
he tried to. Oh, go ahead.
your dad was abusing you? Is that
I mean, that's what my
or
mother said that he was doing. I know my dad's like very perverted. He's Jewish, so like I'm not saying all Jews are like perverted, but a lot of them are. So and he was from Brooklyn, so like they're kind of touchy feely down there. And Italians can be like that too. Like our governor Cuomo, he's like touchy feely. He got kicked out of office because so many allegations. So we have
right?
we have Kathy Hochul now. But as far
Everybody
as
thought he was all cool until all these allegations started coming out, right? Like everybody loved Andrew Cuomo
I
until
didn't like him at all. I thought he
oh.
was weird, and he lied about his height. He wears heels, right? Not like high heels, but like
No, okay, but like lifts, yeah, no.
Yeah, like Tom Cruise does it too. Like he increases his height by wearing these like platform kind of heel shoes.
That is hilarious. Oh my god.
Yeah, Andrew Cuomo says he's 6'2". No, his brother is. He's not. He's like 5'10".
That is
He like lies
okay,
about his height.
short man syndrome. Jesus, like
Yeah. Well, as far as going back to the older man that like kind of groomed me in a way. So when he tried to break my arm, it was this arm. He was like grabbing really hard, and he was like trying to demonstrate something. He was like trying to like he just grabbed it and just started squeezing it. I never told anybody because my parents didn't really care. CPS and cops were always called on my parents, and my parents don't really care. They don't really do anything. So I just never told my dad, and then just he kept calling the house. So my dad eventually stopped being friends with him because I told him, he keeps calling the house, talking to me about inappropriate things, and so my dad would give out like my dad would try to run porn websites. He would steal other people's pornography and like put it on his page. I don't know if there was any kiddie porn, but that's a crime. But my dad would like give it out to his friends. Like he'll burn CDs and like hand it out. Like, here you want porn? Here you go. So he would do that, and so my dad's friend kept calling the house. He has like a lot of anxiety too. So like there's a lot of people with a lot of anxiety in New York. Like everyone talks really fast here. So especially if you're from Long Island, because my mom's from there. Oh my gosh, she'll talk so fast. You have to tell her to start over. Um, but yeah. So I just thought he was my twin flame, just because we had stuff in common. There's times I could get through to him where I asked him, "Hey, were you molested as a kid?" And he said he was.
oh
But
my gosh. You know what though, you
yeah,
guys, statistically, a lot of child abusers, child molesters will say that they were abused as children, and it's only true about 30% of the time.
right.
Don't fully quote me on that stat because I heard it quite a while ago from a friend of the podcast, Dr. Brianna Fox. She has a show on Hulu called The Lesson is Murder. She's an ex FBI special agent, professor of criminology. And I asked her once, I was like, well, aren't the majority, I said, I heard that maybe like 7 out of 10 sex offenders were abused as children. And she said, well, a lot of them are actually lying. And it's
Right.
actually it's a much smaller percent. And I was just like, what the fuck? So it's like, it seems like they would try to bond with you that way. It's like, oh, well, I was abused. And
Well, or they'll even say like, "Oh, I was wrongfully convicted," where like, "Oh, I was 17, they were 16," when it was actually like a probably bigger age gap than that. Like maybe they were 12 when you were
right.
17. So you hear that a lot where they're like, "Oh, it was just the parents found out and I got charged for statutory rape." Blah, 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 blah. It's like that's kind of a big deal. Like
So, and in Twin Flames, they are like, did Jeff or Shalia know about any of this abuse?
that I was dealing with, or
From your twin flame, did they know about the past abuse?
I never really I would kind of hide it where
Oh,
like like when I was a kid I would hide the fact that my parents were abusive to me. So like I wouldn't really say, "Hey, my parents were nasty to me." It's like I'll do it after the fact. Well, my dad's dead now, so I feel like I could tell everybody everything. And I'm 2 hours away from my hometown, but I didn't definitely didn't directly know what was going on with me. It was just be more like people in the group.
because I know
Um,
that there were some people that they did encourage to stay in abusive relationships, and they said, well, that's a block that you need to work through or whatever,
oh
right?
yeah, because if it keeps you there to work on your stuff, you're going to keep paying them. So they're going to be, I think even my mom was even told to stay with my dad by her parents. Like, just a lot of people don't want to deal with it. They don't want to hear about it. Who wants to hear you constantly complaining about your relationship? It's like, who wants to hear that? If it's abusive
Oh, it's
or
like,
not.
wow, 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 my husband is abusing my daughter. Or who, it's like, Jesus, yeah, who wants to? Gosh, I'm so sorry,
No, it's all
Kara.
right.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it was, and it's just like, I would think, if you're helping people heal blocks and trauma, would be like, well, if this person's like, isn't it kind of teaching you where like if anyone's abusive to you, it's like, oh, just heal your blocks. It's like,
It's your fault.
yeah,
Yeah,
right,
it's just full victim blaming.
right. No, yeah, totally. I mean, they were, let's see. Yeah, it's just like, and he'll definitely even be abusive to you too. Like he'll be abusive to you.
Like verbally and mentally, emotionally, right?
Like he'll just like rage, and it's like majority of the time, I thought he was just raging at a video game.
He's just like, "Rah, rah, rah," but like really he's just losing Grand Theft Auto or whatever.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was just like it's like these are classes I'm paying for this shit. It's like I just watch YouTube for free and just like watch people rage at video games.
Right, you're like, that's what Twitch is for.
Yeah,
And um sorry, I just like I have to take a breath. It's
it's okay. A lot
you
of information.
it's I talk about it, my trauma in the same way. I'm like, then this I just kind of rattle it off because I've put up some pretty good walls, you know.
I
Uh,
mean, if you're not emotionally charged by it and you could talk about it, that's one thing where like you could remember it but not as triggered as you were like maybe 5 years ago where like you've talked about it numerous times and it's like, yeah, my dad did this. Like you can kind of see it in your mind, but it's like it's almost like you're seeing it as like a third person when you're watching it. Like is that watching you in this situation? That's how I look at it.
did you do EMDR?
I tried to get into it, but the therapist was like too nutty and I was like too scared to do it.
Okay. Yeah, because that's like, I'm doing EMDR and that's like essentially what we're doing is like going into those traumas and trying to desensitize them because I can't rattle off my traumas because like I've worked through them and it's okay. I can rattle them off because like I've learned to like put up a wall when I talk about them. But it sounds like you've done this like incredible work that I'm aspiring to do where it's like you can talk about it without it like breaking your fucking core as you talk about it.
Yeah, and I think there might be a little bit of an innocence thing to it of like, okay, my parents were yelling at me and I'm giggling, and it's like, wait, I don't know that they're actually being abusive. It's like, oh, they're yelling because they're mad. I thought they're yelling because they're being funny. So I kind of grew up like that, where everyone's like very angry around me. So like my grandparents and my parents were very angry. Um, so I
And
guess.
then
Go ahead.
oh, I'm so sorry. You go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just gonna say that. So I mean, yeah, I mean, I could. I mean, there's like if I talk about a trauma to a certain point, I'll be like, I want to stop. But, um, like there's sometimes I just don't view it as like what happened because or as bad because I was gaslighted a lot. So I was told, oh, this happened. They're like, no, it didn't. I was like, okay, so it didn't. So, but then I'm like, why do I keep thinking that it was? So, but yeah.
Sarah, gosh.
Yeah,
Um,
it's trauma could be tough because it's like, did it actually happen? Was I just tired? Am I imagining things? And then it's like, oh, no, you're not. I mean, if you're gaining weight, your hair is falling out, you're stressed out, scared all the time, obviously this person or situation's, bad.
and
So,
it made me so, I just it made me so sad, and I really felt you when you said that you'd be scared sometimes to watch the videos because you don't know if Jeff would be yelling. And it's not
yeah,
even like you're having a face-to-face interaction with that person. There are times when like I will have to have somebody like next to me as like an emotional support when I'm just gonna like read an email or read a text message. It's not even like I'm about to talk to that person. I'm just afraid of like what the message might say and how it might make me feel. So, and
right.
I think that's like a fear response from growing up scared, not knowing
Yeah.
if you're going to get fucking yelled at or whatever. So you're
Oh,
just like,
yeah.
do I want to open it?
Yeah, I mean, my parents would just yell at me just for even asking, "Hey, when's dinner?" Like just screamed at. It's like, okay, I won't ask that question. So you'll learn it as you go on. Like, don't ask this. Like, there's like a list of things you can't talk about, and then it's like before you know, you're walking on eggshells and you want out. So it's like
Yeah,
they push you out because of the treatment. It's like, okay, well, you told me not to leave, but you're pushing me out.
right.
Oh.
And you said that you ended up unhoused at some point. And was that from paying these fucking astronomical angel number fees to be in the cult?
Well, it was that, and then the twin flame I was seeing, his wife found out about. She knew me. We used to go to their house and everything. My dad used to play music with him, and so she found out, and she's like threatening to get me beat up and things like that. So I was getting very stressed out to work, and a lot of my clients. So I was actually like a professional housekeeper, and I did dog sitting, and I had my own business and everything, but I was just getting too scared and stressed out. So like I was getting more afraid to leave the house. And then I had a really bad neighbor. So it was just like a bunch of stuff that was adding up. So struggling to pay my rent. I didn't look into other avenues of how to help myself financially. I was trying to go to school, made too much money for that. So I was just like kind of like in a really hard spot because New York kind of does that where like if you make okay, you can make there's people that make a lot, there's people that make like nothing at all, and then there's this in between where you can't really get a lot of services because you're in the in between. So if you're really
Yeah.
poor, you can get every service, but if you're like in the middle, you can hardly get anything.
Yeah.
So that's where I was at, where I couldn't even get health insurance, taxes were too high to pay, so I was just getting overwhelmed. And then my mom's like kind of stocky, so she would like leave stuff at my front door when I'm not home, like presents, and it was like really getting weird. And then the older twin flame guy kept coming to my house, and even if I cut him off, even my dad even did. If you cut him off, like there's some people in New York or anywhere, if you cut them off, they'll like show up at your house. Like if you don't answer their texts, calls, like they just show up. My parents used to do that too. They'll just show up at your house, like just
That
unannounced.
sounds like a New York thing. I don't know. I feel like
Yeah, I think it
people
is. Yeah.
don't like drop by. That's not like a thing. It's like if the doorbell rings and you're not expecting anybody, it's like, what the fuck?
I won't even open the door and be like, "Who is it?" Because it's like I don't know who's
Yeah.
on the other end. It's crazy. Where I live, it's an asylum, so they let in a lot of foreigners. There's the people that don't have citizenship here. There's a lot of people that don't. Because New
Mm.
York takes everybody. And actually, I was watching this one other cult. Did you ever see a Wild Wild Country?
Girl, yes. I
That
don't
one
know
was
how
crazy.
that was a 6-part docuseries, and I
Yeah,
watched it probably 5 times.
yeah. It was just so they were getting people from New York because they were trying to take over that one area in Oregon.
Oregon. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they got a bunch of people from New York, homeless people, and like drugged them to get them to vote so then they could take over the state. And it was just then they sent them all back to New York. It's like, oh, I'll go back. So it's like the homeless rate's really high, but I just thought that was interesting where it's like, oh, New York makes its ugly head somewhere. It makes its appearance somewhere. Um so yeah, I just thought that was crazy. And actually there was this how I found out about that documentary series was a Christiane Northrup. She's like an empath doctor, like OBGYN, and she would talk about how like narcissists and disordered people are very draining to be around, like energy vampires.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
she mentioned that cult, and I was just like, oh, I'll look into that. And um, but yeah, I also got into the what's that other one? The one in Utah, the big one with Warren Jeffs
Yes.
or Jeff Warren. Um,
Woo, girl, I know my cult.
FTLS.
Quiz me.
Yeah,
Fundamentalist Latter-day Saints, Warren Jeffs,
that
Colorado
one was
City,
crazy
Utah.
too. Oh my god. Well, there's the young girl aspect getting married off. So,
Yeah,
um,
Jeff Warren's when his dad died, he
yeah,
married all of his stepmoms.
yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
But and then, like, a bunch of, children, little girls as well.
Well, yeah, his daughter
Great
was
guy.
on. Yeah, well, his daughter like wrote a book about how she was groomed by her own father and how you have to stay sweet. And it's just, I mean, what do you do when your dad's a child molester and then you're a product of that? And then, oh my gosh. But what was I gonna say? Oh, I forgot. I had
Well,
was a train of thought.
um, how did so, well, I wanna talk about your journey of healing because 'cause you've obviously done a ton of that. You seem incredibly well-rounded, at least from what I can tell, for what you've been through, because it's obviously a ton. Um, how did you end up leaving, and then how did you start to heal from that?
Well, I ran out of money, so I couldn't pay
Yeah,
the
they're like,
group
"You can't
anymore.
sit with us anymore."
Yeah, I just my credit card bills are too high, and um um I mean, just saying I'm well rounded, everything like that. I'm still struggling with a lot of things.
Oh, well, girl, me too, but,
Yeah.
what have you been doing since then? Obviously, it's been a few years, and you're going to school now. Like, what did that look like when you first got out? And I guess after you were stable enough to the point where you had food and shelter, how did the healing begin?
Um well, like I met someone else who I thought was a twin flame, and they weren't. I was just brainwashed to think almost everybody was.
Mhm.
And I was just like really tired, and I grew up with a lot of depression too. So just mostly because you get beaten down for so long by your family that you're just like can't even move. But I get out of bed. So after that, I lived with another person, and then we became homeless together, and then lived with his parents. So I pretty much got abused everywhere I went, and hard to get a job because I had limited skills. I went to school a long time ago and did business administration. I didn't like it, so I was like, I need to go back to school. And it's really hard to get work in New York because everyone's very abusive and toxic here. Don't let anyone else fool you. It's pretty bad here. Like if you, especially in upstate New York, it's like everyone's very moody here and nasty. And good luck keeping a job because they said they can fire you at any time for no
Wow.
reason. So I don't know if other states are like that, but so yeah, I struggled for a bit, and then I've been going to school for like the last 4 years. Went back and got my associates at my community college online, and then now I'm at my master's, and I got my bachelor's in a year and a half because I did an accelerated program, and then I'm in another accelerated program right now where I'll be done in like a year. So
Wow.
Yeah, and as far as like healing, I haven't really done a whole lot with that because therapists are pretty terrible around here, and it's like weird. It's like with my insurance, like a terrible therapist, and right now I'm getting free therapy sessions through a domestic shelter place locally, and it's like she kind of hears me better than most of the other people. I'm not even paying her.
Yeah.
But I mean, even she's kind of moody, and I mean, she already tells me everything that I already know, and it's like, but it's good to hear from somebody else other than get out of my own thinking and hear someone else say it. So, but yeah, I mean, the person I'm not with them anymore, but I'm still living here, and because I can't leave yet financially, because it's kind of hard to get an apartment here. You have to have 2 or 3 times the rent to even get it. So if the
Which puts
apartment,
people in a fucking impossible situation.
yeah,
Who among us has like 6 grand laying around in our fucking account?
but
Not me.
a lot of people here have a roommate or they live with 4 or 5 family members. I mean, just for 1 bedroom apartment, it's like almost 1,300. So it's like,
Yeah.
and it's really small and it's moldy, but that's New York for you. But anyway, um, yeah. So I've been seeing therapists on and off for like the past like 3 or 4 years. But probably the biggest thing was when I first left was I couldn't stop doing the mirror exercise. It took forever
Mm.
for me to stop doing that. Like I was just so obsessed with, like, they make you obsess. Like, oh,
Well, that's the solution to everything, right? You have anything going on, it's like, yeah, go do mirror work.
because someone said like you could be leaking your energy, and it's like, what does that mean? Like,
Although I
um,
don't know, I kind of feel like maybe being around the right people or in the right situation, like you said, like it's like energy vampire, like it is like kind of
yeah,
slowly
I mean, I agree
sucking
with
it out of
that.
you.
Yeah, but it's like, oh my god, did I heal myself enough today? Like, it's just like scaring you to like think if you did enough trauma work or whatever.
Right.
It's just getting ridiculous. So I did make a video about that where I think it's I think what did they say, it was like, I think they said that kind of therapy, because there's a lot of therapies out there that are very controversial, and I think what they use is definitely that, because it's encouraging you to stay even though, like, I'm getting abused. Oh, it's because I didn't heal something from when I was 5, which is kind of true, because it's like, obviously you're with this person because you probably didn't heal something since you were 5, but it just confuses you because it's like, well, you're saying, oh, there's something I'm doing that's making this happen, and it's like, yes and no, but that's also kind of blaming you. Where, like, okay, I get with abusive male partners because my dad was, and it's like, well, that is a block to heal. That is something to heal and figure out, but that doesn't mean you stay with them to be like, I'm
Right.
gonna keep getting abused until I heal this. It's like, no, you have to get away and heal. Like, you can't exactly be healed by someone that's controlling you the whole time, so.
Right. Yeah, and that's also just such a dangerous narrative saying that anybody else can heal you because it absolutely does have to be yourself. Kara,
Yeah,
I'm going to start to wrap up because
sure.
I'm just trying to keep these not too long for the people on replay, and just because I don't want to take up too much of your time.
It's okay.
I did wanna get to a couple comments. Michelle said Roberta's interviewed a guy about the Waldorf school. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be checking into that more because anything that like smells like a cult, I'm like on it.
Yeah,
Um,
I was there for 4 years, so I was around a lot of the teachers and stuff, so I know quite a bit, but
okay, yeah, maybe we'll talk about that further
yeah,
sometime.
sure.
And yeah, you should definitely go on Life After MLM. I guess Roberta's already talking to 2 other ex-members. Maybe you fucking know some of them. So,
Maybe, hopefully, I know some people that were on there, and I occasionally touch base, but not so much anymore, but, um, well, I mean, here and there, but a lot of them don't wanna, like, talk about it. They're like,
right.
I wanna
Sure.
pretend I was never in that."
Yeah, let's forget about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
and Sophia is from Germany and says that Waldorf schools are heavily regulated there because they're usually pretty problematic. So,
right.
guys, don't enroll your kids into a Waldorf school. Sounds like maybe just skip that. Well, you guys, thank you so much for being here today on the live. Thank you, to the replay crew. There's a ton of culty content on here. Lots of interviews, lots of talk about current cult documentaries. Obviously, Twin Flames universe has been pretty hot in the doc scene recently. So has Love Has Won. Independent fundamentalist Baptists, the IFB cult, on Let Us Pray. Also, The Garden, Cult or Commune. I've got a couple people that were on that show in that situation lined up to talk to. So if you guys want to hear from survivors and thrivers and, ex-members and experts and me, just me, then definitely subscribe to the channel. Visit our website, tsfuthepodcast.com. That's where you can find all of our listening platforms, all of our social media, link to our Patreon if you want to skip ads and you want like stickers and a keychain and all kinds of cool shit. And Kara, you should definitely join as well. Our Discord is really awesome. We are like the epitome of mental health problem people, but who are also very supportive and
Cool.
And solution oriented. We have a channel in the Discord called Mental Health Support, and it's like literally just people being like, I'm having a bad day, and then a bunch of really amazing internet strangers being like, how can I support you? It's crazy. It's crazy amazing. So please join us, Kara, and everybody else, please join us too. Any final questions or comments before we go, you guys? Kara, any final thoughts from you?
Don't join a cult.
Yeah, you guys.
Like, look for the signs first. Like, if there's like guilt, control, or like very bizarre beliefs, definitely like,
Yeah, this is a good one. Have you heard of Stephen Hassan's bite model?
I don't believe so.
Oh, okay. I just put it up in the chat, the clickable
Oh
link.
no, I have. Yeah, no, I have. Yeah, it's
Okay.
an acronym, right?
Yeah, it's it means if they're controlling your behavior, the information that you're receiving, they're controlling your thoughts and emotions. And if you go to the website, it goes more deeply into that. But those are red flags for sure. Control. If they're controlling you, that's a red flag. Secrecy, red flag. Right?
Right.
And I think Sophia's saying that our convo was concise and blunt. Well put. I love that. Yeah, I like to keep it raw on here, so
Yeah.
that sounds so gross. So Kara, I so appreciate, your vulnerability and your openness. It's been so amazing to talk to you. You are a real inspiration. Man, just good for you. You're doing what sounds like some really great work on your own, and you're talking to the public about your experiences, which I think is so important for potential members who could get caught up to hear from other people like, hey, I was seeking the same things as you, and don't go down this road.
Yeah, right. Don't jack up your credit card.
Yeah. Also, if you're getting into financial trouble because of the group that you're in demanding all of your money, also a red flag, guys. Right. So thanks for being here, everybody. And I'm going to end the stream and see y'all on Friday morning at 10 a.m. Mountain, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to be talking to Meg Applegate from Unsilenced about the troubled teen industry. Do you know about that, Kara? Paris Hilton.
Oh, well, I mean, she was like in a boarding school.
Yes.
And I knew a little bit about that on the Drew Barrymore show.
Okay. Yeah, it's totally fucked. So if you guys want to hear more about that, that'll be Friday morning, and you can find Kara on her YouTube at Kara Brodsky.
And there's like a bunch of numbers.
2852. Yeah, there. And on LinkedIn and Facebook at Kara Brodsky, her name. So have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Bye.